together to allow the meeting to be held, and they're not waiting until 8, 9 o'clock to eat, and they're not coming across somebody's way. And I can tell you that that's me asking them, and it's just out of respect to allow the meeting to be held.
And that's fully understandable. But what you have to understand is that when people around this area, the subdivisions that are right here, they don't see people down here at all, and they don't see them for several days in a row. Then they start wondering where, just because there's a new station down there, why their coverage is at the new station and not here. There's no reason you can't train at both stations.
No, absolutely, I agree. And they take turns. One day they'll train up there, one day down here. And I will say, especially whenever it comes to fire training, absolutely, you can train with one person, but whenever we're already running a tight shift, a minimum of 4, typically they get together because whenever if we catch a structure fire or we have a rescue, those 2 stations are going to meet on scene. They're going to perform the rescue. So of course they want to come together, train as a group, because we have assigned people. So the people that are on shift with each other today, they'll be on shift with each other in 6 months. So they're building their skills together as a group, and that's all that they're trying to do.
So are you ever down the road going to increase the budget so that, I know we're talking about saving money, but were you going to put more people on the stations?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. So our plan, whenever we plan and we do budgeting, we look at big picture too, not just this year. And the big picture is to increase our shift size over the years to 10, which would put 5 people at each station. So that means an engine crew of 3 and a medic crew of 2 at each station. As opposed to right now where, yes, some days we might have 10 people on right now, but our actual minimum staffing is 4. So that says at the minimum, you'll have 2 dual certified. And the reason why we run dual certified is so that no matter what call comes out at either station, if an EMS call comes out at the other station, well, they have an ambulance right there. They can go right there in the same round. If an EMS call comes out here, or a fire comes out across the road, they have an engine and they have an ambulance. And both stations are set up with fire apparatus and an ambulance, so that, and it's designed that way.
Our intent is hopefully with growth in the area, because we're bound. I mean, we're landlocked. So we've got to rely on growth within the district, which is, you know, it is taking place. We're seeing, you know, the appraised values, go up some each year, and there's developments taking place. Because we would like to have more people on work in each shift, but just right now we can't afford it. To be frank with you, I mean, So
do you have any volunteers in this department at all? That
yes, we have quite a big volunteer. Every single day we've had about 10 people, 8 to 10 people on shift for the past 3-4 months, and half of those are all volunteers.
Well, that's because they don't know other job to go to right now.
No, they have jobs. They do have jobs, and they come in and they're scheduled to. They're volunteers, but they're scheduled on the shift, and that's how they keep up their hours. And they're required. And I know you're aware they're required to be down for so many hours of training. They have so many calls. So every single day we do have a very good volunteer program. And most of our volunteers hold either fire certifications or they're EMTs or paramedics, so we have a really strong volunteer program.
any more questions, budget related? Then at 6:54, I will close the public hearing on the fiscal year 2021 budget. And at 6:54, I will open the public hearing for the proposed 2020 tax rate. Now that's 2020, that's the county, that's what they call it when they set it at the end of the year. It's for our fiscal year 2021, which starts October 1st. And our tax rate this year is 10 cents on the 100, which is the same as it's been for the last 3 years or so, I think, at least that long. That's the maximum allowed by State Law 775 for emergency service districts. Even if you calculate what your rates ought to be, if they can come out more, that's all we can get. So that's that's all we're allowed. So that's what we're doing this year is maintaining the same rate.
Can you tell me, I'm sorry to go back, can you tell me what the difference between fire equipment and fire supplies are?
Yes, sir. So fire equipment is going to be like your hydraulic rescue tools,
Okay.
and fire supply is your firefighting foam. The foam that we use on structure fires, wildland fires, things like that.
Are there any questions on the rate?
Well, you
On
guys don't know
10%?
anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Everybody else is out of a job and so forth, and you're trying to raise your rates to stay with where we've been. It's just,
Actually, we're expected to get a little less this year from the county because the county said to expect less because people are out of work and not able to pay their
but he
taxes.
was just saying that y'all are going to raise it, would you say 10%?
No, we're keeping it as the
It's
same
exactly
thing it's been
what-
for the last 3 years,
I'm sorry.
4 years.
That's what I thought you
10
were
cents
saying.
on the 100. No, we're leaving, and that's legally the maximum we can
And so,
collect.
actually, a little insight because of everything going on this year. So the county typically supplies or budgets about $60,000 per agency to provide agencies with to help them with their response. And this year, they've been considering talking about removing that, and so it's not just us affected. Every fire EMS in the county is going to be losing that budget money from the
Well,
county.
every ESD,
Every ESD.
the
In
only,
which they're all ESDs now.
Sir?
You're all in it.
well, you've got, I think it's post-volunteer
Oh, yeah.
and for free.
Later, yeah.
Yeah, and they're gonna be giving them some money, but like we were getting 56,000 a year from the county, 30 for fire and 26 for EMS, or the other way around. I have to go look at it, but we've got 56,000 a year from them for the last few years that we didn't get, or they're not doing, and not in their budget,
It's not
not in our budget either.
because they
so-
said that they're not planning to give it this year, so
So you didn't even budget
we
that
didn't
in?
budget for it.
Yeah.
Is there anybody on your staff that's gotten raises or anything this year?
Say again?
Is there anybody on your staff or the area that you cover that's gotten raises this year?
No, we didn't give any raises this year that I recall.
Not this year.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna assume, just to help him out, you guys are below what normal EMTs get paid in paramedics?
I'm sorry?
You're below the average for the state. as
Our-
far as pay. I'm not asking what you pay, but you are below the average. are you
Yes,
not?
ma'am. What the average is for, especially dual service for a firefighter EMT, we're paying below what the average is.
Well, I'm gonna ask, what is your starting? here?
The starting pay for a firefighter EMT is $12 an hour.
How much?
$12 an hour.
Yeah, I'm making that at 50 cents.
And we have raised that some over the last few years. I mean, that wasn't 10.50 or 11 2 or 3 years ago.
So, then I'm assuming that since I see this adjustment on the contract, that you're looking at increasing by 3,867, that's an adjustment for something other than raises? Is that correct?
We went up for a 3% raise for next year, for this coming year in budget, but we didn't get anybody a raise this year.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah,
So-
but we did budget for this coming year for 3% for the regular staff, not for the officers.
So, and not for part-time, it's only for full-time employees.
Well, that's not 3%.
depends on how many full-time employees they have.
Well, no, I'm just looking at all of this. I mean, even if I look at this number, and I say 5 people are working here per hour, we're looking at basically about $18 an hour for the staff. So I'm assuming that that covers medical and all of this retirement and all that.
Well, I mean, in addition to the staff that we've got, the shifts we've got, we've also got fire chief, EMS director, as well as, you've had some, administrative assistants.
But we do have 12 full-time employees.
Yeah.
Just so that you all are aware.
And the 12 full-time employees are not on an hourly basis.
They're all hourly.
So I'm a little confused there. And let's just say that the salaries are around $14 an hour. Let's just say that, just so that we kind of talk about that in there. I'm assuming that the fire chief is not one of the employees on duty at any given time, correct?
That's actually not true. If we're short-staffed, I fill in, I get on the box, I get on the engine.
Okay, but your salary typically is not part of the regular salary. That comes, when you're budgeting, that comes in addition to that, correct? So what I'm trying to get at here is, when I look at the two figures here, roughly $81,000 plus dollars a year, or $801 a year, that comes up to about $9 an hour.
Right, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. So that number does include, so that's not their hourly pay, that's our cost for the employee. So in that number, we include Social Security, Medicaid, Medicare, our costs that we pay for medical insurance. So that number comes from our cost to the employee. That's
So
not.
what's your overhead package?
Correct.
Yes,
What
ma'am.
is your overhead package cost? Federal government is 26%. So if my salary is $100,000, it costs the federal government $126,000 for me.
Right.
So what is your overhead package cost per employee on the average?
I'm trying to pull it up.
Well, we're paying $250 per employee for health care for the ones that qualify.
Is that
A month. We're paying the 6 1/4 Social Security, we're paying the whatever the Medicare number is, I forget.
So-
175
For a firefighter EMT basic with a 3% raise, what they actually make, it comes out to $44,747.90. The total cost comes to $51,160.35.
And I'd like to get this back on track because this public hearing is about tax rate.
No, this is part of that. If the tax rate is being set at 10% because this is what we're paying, then it is part of it.
So tax rate hasn't changed.
That's the problem.
Are there any other questions concerning tax rate? There being none, I'll close the public hearing on tax rate at 7:04. Okay. Now, 7:04, we'll call to order the special meeting for Wilson County Emergency Service District Number 2 special meeting. You call to order and establish a quorum. The entire board is present. Will is our attorney and sisters. We've done the Pledge of Allegiance. Are there any additional citizen comments?
Can I just ask a question, because I'm just curious about some stuff?
Say again?
Can I just ask a question? You don't have to answer it, I know you don't have to. Are you planning on starting a new station anytime soon, or is that like, something that's gonna be way back?
We own that property down the way, but we don't have any plans at this point. I mean, if we're gonna spend money on things right now, it's gonna be more on equipment. You know, because we've got some older rolling stock that's gonna have to be replaced. And, you know, we hadn't even had discussions about when and if we will build on that. At the time, we bought the property, we got a really good deal on it, so we took it. But, you know, looking at the amount of financing or the amount of income we've got, it's not something that, you know, I'm gonna guess 8, 10 years, maybe, if we get enough growth within the district.
And are you gonna get rid of this, piece of equipment out here? I'm assuming it doesn't run.
It needs a new head gasket. Actually, the intention for that engine actually was to donate it to Kenyatta Verde Fire Department. They're the VFD that's off of 2579 and 1303 to help them because they don't have an engine out there. However, it needs a new head gasket, and the person that they were going to have work on it is no longer there. He left the oil field. So right now it's just waiting for a final decision. But that was the intent whenever we took possession of that, was to donate it to
Well, isn't that part of Floresville now? Cannot hurt?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
And yes, and so we've still been having discussions about donating that engine to Floresville.
Well, I think Floresville being an ESD probably can afford it itself now. I don't think they need a donation from you guys.
Yeah, when we acquired all the rolling stock from Sutherland Springs, that was the one that was the least useful, and more or less part of the donation of the other things we got. The big thing we got was we got a brush truck that we really needed at a reasonable price, and we got all that other equipment with it. We got a lot of fire hoses and things like that. Was that 2-3 years ago?
And there was both the brush truck and the 2.5 ton
Yeah.
truck as well as
Yeah.
the SCBA's.
Any other questions? Okay, we'll move to item 4, review, discuss, and approval of the fiscal year 2021 budget. And all the commissioners have seen copies of the budget. Our treasurer, Commissioner Hawkins, sent out what we'd worked on and finalized in our workshops on that. Any comments or questions from the board?
I make a motion to accept the budget as presented.
I'll second that.
Been a motion by Commissioner Whittick, seconded by Commissioner Cunningham to approve the fiscal year 2021 budget for ESD2 as submitted. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Now we come to item 5, review, discuss, and approval of the setting of the 2020 tax rate. There is, because of the new state law, first off, is there any discussion on this? Okay. The law, the new Senate Bill 2 that was put in place start of the year, requires that we have certain information in the motion. So I'll make the motion. I move that the property tax rate be increased by the adoption of a tax rate of 0.10, or 10 cents per $100 valuation, which is effectively, it's actually a 2.2% decrease in tax rate, and adopt the resolution as presented.
Second.
I'm gonna change that to decrease on the first, just do the calculations based on the effective rates that we got from Don. So, it's been a motion by Commissioner Phillips, seconded by Commissioner Whittick to adopt the tax rate of 10 cents per 100 valuation for 2020 Wilson County tax year, fiscal year 2021 for ESD. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Informational, the next scheduled meeting is our regular board meeting, 21st of September, 2020 at 6:30 p.m. at this location. There being no other business, I adjourn the meeting at 7:11. Rudy, can you hear me? Rudy, can you hear me?
He's off.
He's
I can't hear you. Well, if you can hear me, I'm going to sign the appropriate things, and I need your signature as the secretary. So when I get home, I will scan and send them to you, so that you can sign them and scan them and send them back. All right? Okay, thank you. And we really appreciate all of you folks for attending. It's nice to have some folks come to the meeting. Yes. Bye. Y'all have a good